clear and it's cold in the city of brotherly love. It's game 2 of the 4-game series, the Padres and Phillies.
Oh, Philadelphia freedom. I love you. Shine the light.
Number 2 for Will Myers. Leadoff hitter John Jay, a hit in every ball game so far this year. A key RBI double in the 4-3 win yesterday. And Corey Spangenberg, the second baseman, is muscling into Matt Kemp's territory. 8 RBIs in 7 games. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Philadelphia. Mark Grant and Dick Enberg. The Padres with the win today have a chance to go to 500, 4-4, and they can only hope that the bullpen continues to get outs the way they did yesterday.
Dick, you are big baseball fans, and we both know that the complete game for a starter is pretty much gone by the wayside. So there you go. You hand the ball over to the bullpen. Kudos to Kevin Quackenbush, who walked away with the win. This is not a misprint. They handed the ball over to Carlos Villanueva. Only 1 hit in 4 innings for the pen. Bagels in the earned runs and walks, and they punched out 4. Now, the one thing that sticks out to me, Mauer bouncing back after Denver. He handed it over to Rodney. These guys had to go twice through the heart of the lineup, and after they sealed the deal, reach into the quiver. After this pitch, popped him up right side. Dick, what is he going to do right here?
You can't wait. Here it comes. Get in there.
Hit the target. Bullseye for Fernando Rodney. It's all good in Padres. This is a tough game to win on the road in Philadelphia. I don't care how bad or good this Philly team is. This is a tough place to win, and they sealed it yesterday.
Well, that bullpen is passing the test since the first game of the season. They have allowed opposing hitters just 200 batting average. They may be on call again tonight. Robbie Erlin on the mound to start for the Padres. He, in relief, picked up the win in Colorado. And he'll go against veteran Charlie Morton. First pitch coming up. Brought to you by Kaiser Permanente. Thrive. By Petco, your complete pet store. By Jerome's Furniture, where Jerry's price is the lowest price every day. And by SeaWorld. Enter tonight's keyword family on the Ways to Win page at foxsportssandiego.com. And it's time now for a Saquon Pick the Stick. Fans, you know how it goes. Decide who you're with by tweeting out hashtag I'm with and the last name of the broadcaster you think has the best pick tonight. If you're right, you could win a free foursome of golf at the Saquon Golf Resort. Here's how we see it. I'm going with Brett Wallace. Mark Grant, the two-time defending champion, has Spangenberg. Mike Pomerantz with Kemp. Sweeney having a good start to the season, 21 points, likes the leadoff hitter John Jay. And Julie Alexandria out in the lead with 32 points, selects catcher Derek Norris. Rained all morning. It finally became a dry afternoon. They say 57 degrees right now, but with the wind gusting 20-25 miles an hour, it certainly feels a lot colder. And they say it will be down in the low 40s before the broadcast and this game is over.
Tell you what, this morning was major Cuidado alert all over town.
First pitch of the game is in there for a strike from Charlie Morton, a 32-year-old veteran. John Jay trying to keep that hitting streak alive with a base knock in all 7 games thus far. He's seen more of Morton than anyone in the Padres starting lineup. Another strike called by Angel Hernandez, 0-2. Hernandez with Barksdale at first, Little at second, and the umpire at third, Ted Barrett. And a swing and a miss, and on 3 pitches, Jay is gone. Look at the Padres lineup, brought to you by Toyota. Andy Green has the lineup set this way with Jay, Spangenberg, and Kemp. That's been the first 3 all season long. Brett Wallace moves into the cleanup spot. Will Myers getting the night off. Melvin Upton hits 5th. Then Derek Norris, Alexei Ramirez, Alexei Amarista hits 8th, and Robbie Erlin 9th. Spangenberg steps in and a swing and a miss.
And right-hander Charlie Morton on the hill. He was traded to Philadelphia for David Whitehead. That was back in December of last year. Heavy sinker. He throws it a lot. He's got the curveball, the split fastball, and pretty basic. Nothing really sticks out. Tries to pound the zone, get some grounders.
He's had good success in the major leagues against Padres hitters, especially at Pittsburgh. Lifetime against San Diego, 4-1 with a fine ERA of 2.70 and batting average of 179. And another swing and a miss, 1-2.
Does that changeup go along with that 2-seamer? You know, if you're a low ball hitter like Corey Spangenberg and some left-handers, some success against that sinker if he gets it up in the zone. Got to make him work up. You hear that all the time with sinker ballers.
Doesn't need the ground ball so far. A couple of quick strikeouts of Jay and Spangenberg. Morton, a big, tall, lanky 6'5" and 220. And the Philadelphia defense behind him. Tyler Goodell, we see him for the first time in left field with Herrera in center and Burgess in right. Franco, Galvis, Hernandez, and Howard around the horn. Veteran Carlos Ruiz behind the plate tonight, and Morton on the mound. Matt Kemp. And he hits a one-hopper to Galvis from the outfield grass, throws him out. A quick 1-2-3 inning for Charlie Morton. Cesar Hernandez leads it off for the Phillies. The Phillies come up with Cesar Hernandez leading off in the bottom of the first inning. Here is their lineup. Pete McCannon has them hitting in this order. Hernandez followed by Odubel Herrera, then Michael Franco. Ryan Howard, the veteran first baseman, at the cleanup spot. Carlos Ruiz, another member of the 2008 World Series champions. He's behind the plate. Freddie Galvis at 6, then Peter Burgess, Tyler Goodell, and Charlie Morton, the pitcher. The lineup brought to you by Hyundai.
And the scouting report for left-hander Robbie Erlin. Last time out in relief, he did a great job, and now he's getting a start here in Philadelphia. Got the curveball and cutter control, and aggressive with all of his pitches. Do exactly what he did last time out. He should find himself doing quite well against these Phillies. Let's look for the fastball in on a cold night here in Philadelphia.
And the bouncer past the mound, charged by Spangenberg, has to hurry, and he just does get the speedy Cesar Hernandez for the first out. Boy, they're going after that first pitch tonight, aren't they? Here's the defense along with Spangenberg for the Padres. In the outfield, Upton in left, Jay in center, Kemp in right. Amarista back for his second start with Ramirez at shortstop. Spangenberg, we just saw him make the last play. Brett Wallace at first. Derek Norris behind the plate for the left-hander Robbie Erlin. Odubel Herrera, 6 for 26 on the new season. The wind is blowing straight in at times, and then at this moment angling toward the right field corner, and it is gusty. It's going to be tough to hit it out in left field, and the ball hit in the air down the right field line. You better be ready for some crazy curves. In batting practice, balls that start 20 feet there were being blown all the way into the stands foul. Herrera against Erlin. Robbie against Colorado went 3 2/3 in relief and allowed only 1 hit, no runs. 41 pitches in 3 2/3 to pick up his first win of the season.
Yeah, he was in cruise control. Hopefully he doesn't skip a beat. Good quick first inning for Robbie.
Fastball on the inside corner. No, I guess that was an off speed. The radar said 82 miles an hour. Andrew Keshner was breezing along last night, pitching very effectively through the first 3 innings. And gave up a run in the 4th, and finally the 6th. Left with the bases loaded, and Padres got out of that jam. Out of play.
You know, in this type of weather, Dick, with a pitcher out there like Robbie Erlin and Charlie Morton, it's sometimes hard to get a grip. You really have to get some moisture on your fingers, maybe go into the rosin bag and go into the mouth quite a bit. It's a bundle up night tonight, no doubt about it.
Well, in the early morning rains, there were a few flakes of snow also this morning. 1-2. Just missed. Second of 4, Padres and the Phillies, and then San Diego will fly home Thursday night and open a 9-game series at Petco Park next Friday. Arizona in for 3, Pittsburgh 3, and the Cardinals for a 3-game weekend series.
Here comes a changeup.
And he gets him swinging. 2 away here in the Phillies half of the first inning. And a look now at the keys to the game, brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers.
Okay, repeat Robbie, repeat relief. We talked about the relief appearance by Robbie Erlin. He did a spectacular job. And last night, the bullpen was outstanding. Clean, crisp baseball. No freebies for the Fightin' Phils. Hey, kudos to those guys out there. Oh, yeah, they deserve a big heart because they're my guys. And I love the relievers.
They're in the penthouse. The 2 warm-up areas, the 2 bullpens are stacked one atop the other. The Phillies are down the basement, and the Padres are up there where the expensive clothes and other items you can find.
You know why they do that? I mean, the fans are right above the Padres. They heckle them big time.
Oh, yeah, and they can do that.
Oh,
here in
yes,
the city.
they can.
Brotherly heckle.
You're going to get an earful out there.
Michael Franco, he's off to a hot start, hitting .409. There they are. They can lean right down, and when you're warming up, they're in your ear. High drive to left field, but in the wind, that's going to blow that back toward the infield, and in fact to foul territory. Captured by Upton. Oh, it's going to be an adventure. Balls hit in the air tonight. On to the second.
Manager Andy Green so effective with these guys so early on is his ability to empathize with just how difficult it is for some of the bench players to be effective coming off the bench the last minute, barely any notice. He was telling a story today how he remembers being called up in 2006 and not getting a start until May. So he basically sat on the bench the entire month without getting any opportunity. And he said he doesn't want to do that, especially with these guys. That's why we're seeing it reflected in the lineup today. And he talked to Jabari Blash. He just kind of checked in with him, and this is something he likes to do with all the guys, but specifically with Jabari, because he could tell that he really wanted that chance. And he sat down with him and just to kind of check in, see where his mind was at. He said he wanted him to remain positive. He said, don't worry, your time is coming where you're going to be effective. We're going to call on you more often than not. He's like, but for right now, just be patient. So something we're going to be seeing, especially in this series, a lot of these guys getting a chance.
And of course, Will Myers, Julie, is gets his first game off tonight. And Manager Green said that it'll be Matt Kemp either tomorrow or Thursday, probably Thursday. He wants to give everyone a day off. It's a long season. You don't want to wear out your team in the first month. Brett Wallace leads it off, 2-1. The count on him here in the second. Whoa, a shot back up the middle, but gloved by the second baseman Hernandez, and a scoop by Howard at the other end. They steal a base hit away from Brett Wallace. I don't know if Morton got a little piece of it to slow it down coming back through the middle. And Franco was over on the second base side in the shift.
The unbelievable thing about this play is that Franco's momentum is going towards the left field wall and in the air. Look at how much he gets on it. It doesn't get there on the fly, but credit Ryan Howard also for sucking this one up on the scoop. I tell you what, big out for Charlie Morton and the Phillies.
Line drive right to Galvis off the bat of Melvin Upton. So 2 balls hit hard for outs by the Padres here in a quick second inning. In fact, that first inning required only 8 pitches from Charlie Morton. So Franco, the third baseman, with his third baseman's arm, able to make that play out of the shift to deny Wallace, and then Upton with a laser right to the glove of Galvis for the second out.
They got a pretty good left side of the infield.
They do defensively.
Yes.
And Franco made a couple of good plays yesterday. Took an extra base hit or 2 away, guarding the line. Now he's over at the hot corner.
We talked to Larry Boa before the game. He is the bench coach of Pete McCannon for the Phils, and he likes what he sees. Still a couple of years maybe away to where this team really gels, and they've got some youngsters in the minor leagues also waiting to come up to the big league level.
Derek Norris, 1-1 the count. There's Larry Boa, former skipper, valuable bench coach, fiery character.
One of my favorite guys in baseball, Larry Boa.
He inside, 2-1. Ground chuck, they called Charlie Morton because of all the ground balls he induces. In fact, very few pitchers in the big leagues throw more ground ball outs than Morton. Testimony to that sinker.
Yep.
In fact, last year, well, since 2011, he's #2 in the big leagues to Dallas Keuchel. 58% of his outs, ground ball outs.
Late movement on that sinker's tough to square it up, and you ask any hitting coach, Alan Zinter would say the same thing. You got to make him get it up in the zone.
And down low, ball 4. The Padres' first base runner of the game, as Norris trots to first, and that'll bring up Alexei Ramirez. Against the Padres, as we told you, they had trouble getting base hits off this right-hander. 179 batting average.
And Dick, like any sinker baller, you want to try to get him early. If you can get Charlie Morton on the ropes early, that's good, because once he finds that groove, you get that sinker working. Next thing you know, you're getting deep into the ball game.
Well, they are 2-5 on the season. Philadelphia, their starting pitching has been very good. There's a strike. Only Morton had a rough outing in the tour through the top 5. At Pittsburgh, he lasted only 3 2/3 innings, gave up 6 runs, but the rest of the starts have been very stingy to the opposing hitters. As you look at Pete McCannon, now the full-time manager, interim last year when he replaced Ryan Sandberg at midseason. Nubbed right to Howard. That's about as easy as it gets. To the bottom of the second, no score. All right, thank you, Mike and Mark. And it's Ryan Howard leading off the Philadelphia second inning, no score. And with a loss by the Dodgers, they dropped to 500, 4-4. So they're 1-4 in their last 5 games. Giants atop the NL West, with Colorado slipping into the second spot. Padres trying to get to 500 tonight after their 0-3 start. Dodgers sweep. Phillies are 2-5. Padres 3-4.
You look at that schedule, and out of the division, of course, here in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh at home, the Cardinals, and then back in the division with the Giants and Dodgers. So, hey, challenging schedule for the Padres.
High deep drive to right center field. How much will the wind impact this? It's going to keep it in the yard, and Kemp makes the play. Off the bat, on a normal night, that would have been big trouble.
It kind of had that sound like it was towards the end of the bat just a little bit, and that's all it takes from missing the sweet spot. As Old Glory going double duty out there. Heavy starch out of the left-hander's hand. It looks like it may be an off-speed pitch, and Ryan Howard out in front of it just a little bit. That's all it takes to keep it in the yard.
Carlos Ruiz, the catcher, 3 for 11 on the new year. So Howard and Ruiz batting back-to-back in the order tonight. They're the 2 remnants of the 2008 World Series championship here in Philadelphia. All the rest of the key players have moved on, and much of that part of the house cleaning in Philadelphia, they've gone to youth, 5th youngest team in the major leagues. (3-0) to Ruiz.
And after this season, Ruiz and Howard off the books. And as I mentioned earlier, Larry Boas said there's some good youngsters in the minor league, and they got the good mixture up here.
A 4-pitch walk to Ruiz, Philadelphia's first base runner tonight. And that'll bring up the switch hitting shortstop Freddie Galvis.
Cuteness sighting here in Philly. Oh, how darling.
Beautiful eyes, huh? Cheerleading mood with Mama. Galvis has hit from the right side in only 1 game. He's 1 for 4 right-handed. Overall, just 5 hits so far this year. That's a strike. Stands a good distance away from the plate, does Galvis.
That means to me, when I look at that, he's going to dive to the outer part of the plate. Open stance.
Bounces that breaking ball, 1-1.
I've always been a believer that when they dive like that, of course you want to try to bury that fastball in, maybe cut it into the hands. You think, boy, look at how far away he's standing, and you think, well, I could just pepper away at the outside corner, but that's where they want to drive it.
Fastball strike at 90. Peter Borges in the on-deck circle for Philadelphia.
Curveball. Keeping the ball down nicely.
Chopped up the middle. Spangenberg will run the runner back. There's 1 out. Now the tag play at second. A double play. Well done by Spangenberg. 4-3-6 on the double play. And we go to the 3rd in Philly. No score. Heady play. Spangenberg runs the Top of the third here at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. Opened the same year as Petco, 2004. Amarista, Erlin, and Jay against Charlie Morton. Amarista, very significant role yesterday in the win. Had a big base hit early in the game in the third. Came around to score one of the 4 runs. Made the big play on the controversial infield fly rule, tagging the runner at third. We were talking to Manager Green about that, and I hadn't recalled that on the infield fly rule that runners advance at their own risk, but there's no force. The force is off on all runners. So Amarista had to tag the runner coming over from third, and it's fortunate that the Padre dugout's on the third base side, because Andy Green was shouting, "Tag him, tag him, tag him." He obviously knew the rule, and Amarista had first gone over and just tagged the bag, and then when the runner came over, tagged him, and that completed the double play. First out on the infield fly, second on the runner taking the risk of advancing, not realizing the infield fly rule had been called. Breaking ball upstairs, 3-1 to Amarista, recalled from El Paso. His first start was yesterday, as they await news on Jan Solarte's hamstring pull. Left field, but that's carrying right out to Goodell. One away. So here's the play. Bases loaded, no one out, and the ball hit what appeared to be a simple look at Myers. He doesn't know where the ball is, so Ramirez has to go out into shallow left field. There's the tag of the base, and he just does tag the runner, and that completes the double play. Had Myers caught the ball, had he seen the ball, would have caught it in shallow left field. There still would have been only one out, bases loaded, but because he didn't see it, Ramirez didn't catch it, and because the umpire, Will Little, saw that as an infield fly, which none of the rest of us have, but that's after the fact.
Even manager Pete Mackanin was arguing that's why he was out there chirping to the umpire, because he felt the infield fly rule should not have been called.
I mean, that was 25, 30 feet out into left field, shallow left field. But the wind was blowing out yesterday, and what appeared when off the bat to be an easy play. And Erlin takes strike 3.
And it led to this play, and it features our Ram Trucks tools of the trade. We're going to focus on that safety squeeze. In the 7th inning, Alexi Amarista at the plate. Now watch, there's a couple of factors. Derek Norris on third base, right? Secondary lead. He's leading off. Back in the 6th inning, he puts it down. And it's perfect. As soon as that ball was on the ground, he's off. Now they had a chance, maybe, just maybe, to get him at the plate, but it wasn't a force play. It would have had to be a great feed on the third base side for the tag. It was perfectly executed.
The pitcher, Aaron Nola, said after the game, he said, "I thought about throwing to the plate, but it would have taken a perfect play on my part. I wouldn't have been able to get much on my toss." John Jay struck out the first time, one of 3 punch outs so far for Morton. No hits for the Padres. He and Corey Seager. Don't know what Seager did today in the Dodger opener, but hit safely in every game. Well, both pitchers working quickly. They do that normally anyway, but in this cold weather, and it's getting colder, getting that rock and throwing it as soon as they can.
Well, Morton doing a good job using both sides of the plate to John Jay.
Jay has seen Morton 22 at bats with 9 hits, hitting over 400. Couple of doubles, and he's been hit 5 times facing Morton. That's incredible.
He's doing some diving at the plate. Wants to bury that fastball in. Sounds like to me.
So in 30 at bats against Morton, he's been plucked 5 times by Morton.
Curveball down and in here. Fish ain't bite.
And what Jay will do sometimes on that breaking ball low and inside, he won't move his puppies. He'll take one for the team. We saw that against the Padres when he was in a Cardinals uniform. Full count. Line to left field, slicing in a corner, foul ball. And the wind impacted that drive to left, and quieter conditions, that ball might have hugged the line into the corner for a double. Padres seeking their first hit off Morton. And Kemp in the hole. There's a base hit to left center field, and that one's aimed up the alley. Jay takes his turn on his way to second. Here comes the throw. It's offline, and Jay pulls up at second with a double. 8 straight games. The Padre leadoff hitter with a base hit.
We saw aggressive base running in Colorado. Look at the high sinker. That's the perfect example of what I'm talking about. High sinker, get it up in the zone. As soon as he was out of the box, he was thinking 2, because Herrera, Goodell, they're merging towards the left center field gap. Why not be aggressive? It forces a bad throw, and that's exactly what happens, and he's in scoring position. Nicely done.
Brings up Corey Spangenberg. He struck out swinging the first time. Chance to pick up his 9th RBI, second on the team to Matt Kemp. Off speed, he's out in front.
He struck him out on that curveball last time up. Starting him off. It's a good breaking ball.
So the Padres with a runner in scoring position. First time either team has placed a man at second. Oh, he didn't make contact striking out the first time, and he swings and misses at the first 2 on this at bat.
That ball looked like it had a little cut to it, actually.
Two outs, Jay at second. Runners in scoring position this year. Padres 5th in the majors, hitting .316. Good sign. And he looks at strike 3. So Spangenberg strikes out, and we go to the bottom of the 3rd. No score. Welcome back. Along with Mark Grant and Julie Alexandria, Dick Enberg, we're pleased you're with us. We'll be back at it again tomorrow, 4 o'clock, for Padres Live, the pregame show. Colin Ray and Jared Eichhoff will duel in Game 3. Peter Borges, ground ball right side, backhand Spangenberg, off balance throw in time for the out. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Nice play, Corey Spangenberg, because we know that Peter Bourjos can run. He's got some serious speed. So Corey's got to get to that ball and then quickly make the transfer. Backhand. Okay, now you got to square up. Now you got to find your footing. Get something on it now.
4 steps in the throw.
So Bourjos out on a gorgeous play.
Yeah, little two-seamer throwback by Spangenberg. Tyler Goodell, his first at bat in the series. Just 23, grew up in the Bay Area. His dad, a very successful scientist, a biotech industry pioneer, in fact, was involved in synthesizing insulin. 2-1.
So what you're saying is a pretty smart guy.
I would think that like father, like son.
Yeah.
Line drive. Ramirez right off the top of the dirt there at shortstop. Got a little late break on it. That ball appeared to be knuckling off the bat of Goodell for the second out.
I thought Alexi may have lost that ball off the bat.
Kind of staggered over there to make the play, didn't he? Let's go down to Julie Alexandria. Julie.
Hey guys, well, just an injury update for you on Solarte, a positive one actually. Andy Green says he's been feeling a lot better. He's back in San Diego getting some physical therapy and rehab, and they expect him to be a lot better closer to his expected return date, which is the 15-day DL. So very, very positive stuff out of there, because that's great.
Well, keep bringing those good news, Julie. That would be terrific if he can make it back in 15 days as the pitcher Charlie Morton fouls that away, as that appeared to be a very serious hamstring pull, and those can be nasty in terms of rehabilitation.
Yes.
2 strikes on Morton, the pitcher. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Second strikeout for Erlin. He's gone through 9 batters in 3 innings, and we're on to the 4th. Only 1 hit in the game. John Jay's double. Matt Kemp will lead it off for the Padres in the 4th.
Scoreless in Philly. Time to tell you about the MLB At Bat app. Follow the Padres baseball live all the time with MLB.com At Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com At Bat, the #1 At Bat app for live baseball on your phone.
That's a tricky one, At Bat app. Huh?
It's tough to say, but once you get it, you're going to love it.
Matt Kemp tops the 4th inning with Brett Wallace and Melvin Upton to follow against Charlie Morton. And a line drive base hit through the right side. That was a big gap over there with the shift on. And Kemp takes advantage. The Padres have the leadoff man on.
Tell you what, that was actually beautiful. Matt Kemp going the opposite way. They overloaded on the left side. Student body left, 3 infielders, but Matt Kemp says, huh, really? I'll just take that sinker the opposite way. And he's telling Ryan Howard all about it.
Brett Wallace grounded to short his first time. Actually was fielded by Michael Franco, the third baseman. And the shift on again. 3 on the right side. Wallace hit some huge drives in batting practice. He was peppering that facing of the second deck in right field. Ball 1. Morton with Pittsburgh last year was 9-9, 4.81 ERA. And you can see against left-handed batters, as the last 3 years they've been hitting 300 or better against his offering, and that's why Andy Green loaded up the lineup with lefties.
And to me, that tells me maybe something about Charlie Morton. Maybe falling into a pattern and just trying to throw the sinkers down and away to lefties, not utilizing pitches in. But early tonight, Dick, I think we've seen curveballs in. We've seen a pitch into lefties. Maybe he's trying to counter that. Seems like some comfortable at-bats for left-handed pitchers recently against the righty, Charlie Morton.
Wallace sitting on a 2-0 pitch. Kemp with a leadoff single.
Sinker.
Late swing. Wallace had such an outstanding year last season as a pinch hitter. Hit .349 coming off the bench with 4 of his 5 home runs in a pinch roll capacity. Looking for his first hit of 2016. Ruiz out of the crouch, bluffing the throw to first base. 2-2 the count.
You know what's amazing about that last pitch? Brett Wallace actually kind of gave up on that pitch. It was a two-seamer. Caught a pretty good chunk of the inside part of the plate. Just gives you an idea of the movement of that two-seam fastball that Morton possesses.
And that ball was right in the hitting zone. Number 4.
Oh, look out.
Fortunately, there are a lot of empty seats in that one. Into that gentleman's grasp after it bounced off one of the blue chairs.
Smells good, huh? Really? Oh my God.
He's just kissing it. It's okay. Kiss the horsehide. That's what I said.
That hit him.
Inside, 3-2.
No? All right. Thought I heard something. Maybe that was the pick. Maybe the ball in the dirt by Ruiz.
3-2. Padres trying to brew up some run activity here in the top of the 4th inning. Scoreless in Philadelphia.
Trying to throw that fastball inside here to Wallace.
Swing and a miss with Kemp going, and he's a dead duck now. Although they're having trouble getting the ball to first, he's safe. Oh, how did he get out of that? The great escape for Matt Kemp. He was halfway between first and second, but Franco unable to get the ball cleanly out of his glove to make the throw. That should have been ball 4 as Brett Wallace chased a pitch outside.
That's the difference, as you mentioned, Dick. Dropping the ball right there and scampering back safely. A break for San Diego.
Well, they got a break yesterday on that infield fly rule, so maybe that's an omen. Melvin Upton lined out to shortstop his first at bat. The inside.
You know, we go to Peoria, Arizona for a few weeks, and we go to San Diego, and we got to break out the sweater and the jacket.
It's a little wintry.
And if I'm a pitcher I'm pitching right in here, Professor. I'm throwing the two-seamer in. I'm getting in the knuckles.
So I'm gonna. If you hit me in the jacket, though, I get first base.
Yeah.
You kissing the horse hide?
No, I'm smelling the horse hide. You know, it's a good smell. The leather. It's almost like new car.
All right, you just go in the corner and work on your olfactories, and we'll go on with the game here. Swing and a miss, 1-1 to Upton. Please, you youngsters at home, don't test that out. Could be dangerous to your health. A ball and a strike. No score in the fourth. Oh, almost threw that one away. Good backhand snag by Ryan Howard.
You know, last year for the Phillies, they were ranked 28th in innings pitched for starters, and that's one of the reasons why they acquired Charlie Morton, because they knew he could chew up some innings. 892 2/3, 28th in Major League Baseball. Not good. Not good.
That's on the inside corner at 95. Upton disagreed with umpire Hernandez.
Hey, dude, I got a foul ball, and it smells great. Smell it again. Come on. Smell it. He wanted to.
Yeah, he does. He's hooked. 1-2. Morton recovered from serious hip surgery in 2014 to return with the Pirates and go 9-9 last year. And that's a full count, 3-2. And he's pitching tonight as a young man and his lady friend, letting everyone know that he's got that precious souvenir. Well, Kemp was going 3-2 on Wallace, but not this time, and it's ball 4. Second walk allowed by Morton. That pushes Kemp into scoring position. 2 on with only 1 out here in the fourth, and brings up Derek Norris.
Okay, second time around now for Derek Norris with that runner in scoring position and a runner on first. It'd be nice to get on the board here. It's Charlie Morton.
Norris had a key wrong field double, proved to be the winning run yesterday in the 7th inning. Didn't hit it hard, but directed it right over the first base bag, and it trickled down into the right field corner for a 2-base hit, and eventually scored on the squeeze bunt by Amarista. Inside. Norris seeking his first RBI of the season. This is be a nice spot. Breaking ball in there, right in the heart of the plate.
Yeah, you know, it seems to me, Dick, early on here in this game that just when the Padre hitters are guessing for the two-seamer, they're getting the yacker. When they're expecting the yacker, he sneaks that two-seamer by him, like Corey Spangenberg, right? That two-seamer right down the middle. That looked like a pretty good breaking ball to hit.
This one spins outside and low. So the action pitch, 2 balls and a strike to Derek Norris. Kemp leads away from second. Upton at first. Too much time. Norris will back out. Alexei Ramirez on deck.
Matt Kemp checking the outfielders.
Late swing on the 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Very late.
So 2-2. Five strikeouts, 2 walks from Morton. Ground ball should be 2. There's 1. Back to first. Double play. Oh, he dropped the ball, Howard. And safe at first base is Norris, and Kemp now at third. Oh, that was made to order double play. Room service at shortstop Galvis. And Hernandez throw over to Howard. Got away.
Right there. Ryan Howard just boxed it.
Looked like he took his eye off the ball. So an error on Howard. Norris safe. And let's see if the Padres can take advantage of the miscue by Howard. Instead of the inning over, first and third, 2 outs. Ramirez grounded out the first little number the first time. Takes inside, ball 1. Morton 94, 95.
Oh yeah, he can
fastball.
get up to 96. He averages about 92, 93, but he's throwing some good fuzz up there tonight with the 2-seamer.
Over but low. '22nd pitch of the inning coming up from Morton, who needed only 38 to get through the first 3 innings. Up the middle, and on a broken bat, the throw to first is in time. The Padres get a hit, a walk, and an error. Can't come up with a run. Moments in MLB history brought to you by Geico. 1964, the Phillies. Jim Bunning, father of 9, threw the 9th perfect game in Major League history. Bunning's perfecto on Father's Day against the Mets at Shea Stadium. With his family in attendance, Bunning retired 27 straight Mets. It was the first perfect game during Major League Baseball's regular season in 42 years. Bunning, number 14, a Hall of Famer, and served our country for many terms as a U.S. congressman from Kentucky. Reason why we said there was that many years in the regular season for a perfecto. Remember Don Larson in the World Series tossing the perfect game. San Diego's Don Larson. Point Loma's Don Larson. Robbie Erlin has allowed only 1 base runner, but he was erased. Carlos Ruiz on a double play, so facing the minimum number through 3 innings. Here's Cesar Hernandez. Hernandez from the left side hitting at a good clip, 9 for 19, but right-handed, only 4 at bats, 0 for 4. And on the grass, Amarista in between hop, bobbles, and still gets him. That's a tough little play. He had to charge and pick up that short hop, and then juggled and makes a nice second effort. Whoa, there it is for the
Plenty of time. No need to panic there.
It's the third start for Erlin against the Phillies, and he's performed well tonight as he did in the past.
Boy, the walks and strikeouts is really something that jumps out at you there. You know, his career numbers versus Philadelphia.
Both those starts at Petco Park. Odubel Herrera takes strike one. Herrera with a couple of hits yesterday, 2 singles and 4 at-bats, knocked in a run. He uses the whole field. 1 line drive to left, 1 line drive single yesterday to right. Struck out swinging tonight, first time.
Nice job by Robbie Earl in the first pitch strike category, 8 of 11. He looks smooth, he looks confident, carrying over from his relief appearance against the Rockies.
Outside, 2-1.
Oh, pretty good pitch right there. Got squeezed. That is the pitch that doesn't get called that often, the low pitch. And Trax has it as a strike. Brought to you by Southland Technology.
3 balls and a strike. Well, the plate umpire levels his eyes at the top of the strike zone, so that anything above the eyes is going to call a ball. It's tougher to see that pitch down at the knees, and it's tough for the catcher to make that catch and keep the ball, you know, frame it up into the strike zone. And there's a tendency to drop your glove and make it look as if it's even lower than when it crossed the plate. Full count.
Fastball away.
Too far outside. That's the second walk from Erlin. And brings up Michael Franco, who fouled out to the left fielder Melvin Upton his first time.
Well, we know that Michael Franco loves the first pitch fastball as Darren Balsley looks on, the pitching coach for the Padres. So I'm guessing maybe an off-speed pitch here. Maybe get something to roll over early to possibly get a grounder and get a double play.
3 hits and 4 at-bats last night, or yesterday, for Franco.
That is.
Off speed, and he was ready to pull the trigger on a fastball, wasn't he? Way out in front.
Good yacker from Robbie Erlin to get ahead.
Infield set for 2.
Throw him a changeup right here. Screw him right into the ground. He's geared for the old number 1. Fastball in, fastball away, curveball, changeup, fastball away. Fastball in.
That's where he started the sequence last time.
Get it in there.
Way upstairs.
That's the pitch where if you're going to go in, miss in. Don't miss over the heart of the plate.
Pitching coach Balsley huddled there in the dugout, focused on his man on the mound. Ground ball to short, not hit very hard. They get 1 there. The relay, Spanchenberg, a double play. 6-4-3. The Padres turn 2 for the second time tonight. We've gone through 4, no score. Well, I hope it's nice and cozy there in your studios, Mike and Mark.
They live life.
We could use a little fireplace, you know, a little crackling fireplace here. As a ground ball pulled to the right side off the bat of Amarista, and there's one quick out here in the top of the 5th inning. Only 2 hits in the game thus far in this pitcher's duel, and the Padres have both of those hits. Double by John Jay and a single by Matt Kemp.
Robbie Erlin has really taken advantage of an opportunity. And it just goes to show you in this game of baseball when you're called upon. And remember the game in El Paso where he didn't do that well, sent to the minor leagues. You got to keep the positive attitude. He got the rock in Colorado. I mean, in that venue, it's tough to pitch. But he answered the bell, and he gets a start here. And, you know, Tyson Ross, we wish him well getting the shoulder back into throwing shape. But Robbie has really done a nice job.
4 innings. He's been very economical. 40 pitches.
First pitch strikes, 9 of 12 in that category.
Now at the plate, and he takes ball 1, 1-1.
The lefty batting from the right side, protecting that elbow with that pad.
Over 3 on the season with a bat, and he rolls that one foul.
Randy Johnson, the big unit, left-handed thrower, right-handed hitter.
Most organizations discourage that as young kids come in. They want to keep that throwing arm away from the pitcher. And another strikeout. Charlie Morton, he's had a half a dozen punch outs. So top of the order, John Jay, a strikeout and a double.
I'll tell you what, this Charlie Morton is not from the island of misfit toys. This guy's got some good stuff working. Both pitchers tonight.
Salty.
Yeah. Nobody wants a Charlie in the box.
John Jay doubled the left center the last time, extending his hitting streak through all 8 games of this season. And looks at one inside at 90.
Now you put it in perspective, the hitting streak for John Jay, and then you think of Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. It is just unbelievable.
It really is.
I don't think that record will ever be broken. But then again, I thought Don Drysdale's record would not be broken, and Earl Hershiser broke that in 1988.
How about Lou Gehrig's endurance record, the Iron Horse?
That's right. I never thought that would be broken. Cal Ripken answered that bell.
Never say never. Pulled foul.
Well, the one that I would bet everything I have, all $25.75. Cy Young's win total, 511.
Denton Cy, yeah. And you had, when you bet all that money, you still got your hand on that 25 cents, so it doesn't get away from you, right?
Yeah.
It's in your pocket right there. Another foul. 1-2.
We got ourselves a pitcher's duel going tonight.
We do. Well, ideal conditions to be pitching. You stay warm because you're so active on the mound, and those hitters coming up there with cold hands. Somebody gets one in the air toward right field. It should carry. Bounces in, 2-2. Well, Morton pitching as he has in the past against the Padres, as we told you earlier, 4-1 lifetime against San Diego with a 179 batting average against. Just 2 hits tonight, 6 strikeouts. Ground ball right side. Filling the hole is Hernandez. And it's a 1-2-3 inning. Halfway mark there already. No score. Time for our Harris game summary. The emphasis on defense tonight and strikeouts. Great pitching. Charlie Morton and Robbie Erlin matching pitches, and then some outstanding defensive plays. Spangenberg there. Nice play by Mike Franco, and then the heady play by Spangenberg. Run the man back, get the out at first, and now Wallace with a perfect throw back to Ramirez for an unusual 4-3-6 double play. Our Harris game summary. I'd like to be able to show you some runs, but Max Michalak down there and Michael Odino, I don't know. They're searching for some. They say they're coming later.
As I mentioned earlier, we got ourselves a pitcher's duel. Both pitchers throwing the ball extremely well, hitting the corners, changing speeds nicely.
Two base runners from Robbie Erlin, both walks, both immediately erased on double play. So he's faced the minimum number of batters, 12 through 4 innings.
I think an advantage for Robbie Erlin. You know, he's a high 3/4 release point, but he goes from the first base side of that pitching rubber. So, for instance, Ryan Howard, he's coming up that front right hip pocket, so getting that angle down and away right here with the fastball.
Nice. Change up, 2-2.
Oh, the combio.
With the bases loaded yesterday and no one out in the 6th inning, manager Pete McCannon pinch hit for Howard, brought up Darren Ruff. It was Ruff's fly ball into shallow left that would be the controversial infield fly roll call. But that's a sign of what is going to happen. Howard, in the twilight of his great career, is going to be pinch hit for in certain situations. With a left-hander on the mound, they'll go to Ruff to bat.
And the numbers don't lie. Last year, only a 119 average versus breaking balls.
Foul ball, just missed the bag at first. Gloved by Wallace, and he'll send that into the crowd for a souvenir. Howard, Ruiz, and Galvis, the middle three in the order for Philadelphia here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Arizona coming to Petco on Friday night. They beat the Dodgers, and the Dodgers home opener today, 4-2. Ground ball, same spot.
You know, I gotta say, probably the worst looking costumes I've ever seen are the ones that the Diamondbacks wore today. Unbelievable.
I wonder who the fashion designer was for that.
I don't know, but it looks like somebody threw the dark clothes in with the white clothes, and it just didn't turn out well.
Then they try to spice it up with a little teal borders. Pulled into the right field corner, but that'll be foul. Ooh, he got his hands on it, and that's what usually happens. You knock it down, and somebody else picks it up under a chair.
He caught it with his wrist. Oh, you think this game is easy, huh, there, Cha-Cha? Yeah.
Don't smell your wrist.
Right. Oh, how nice. You gave it to him. Nicely done. That's a nice gesture by that gentleman.
It is, yeah. Again, the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Blew the fastball by Howard. Strikeout number 3.
That's going up the ladder. Let's check it out of the hand of Robbie Erlin. Well, two-seamer high up, and Ryan Howard cannot catch up to it. Way behind.
So Erlin, who needed only 40 pitches to get 12 outs, 40 pitches in 4 innings. That was a 10-pitch at bat to Howard. Slow curveball bends in there at 70. Carlos Ruiz walked the first time. Slow roller right at Spangenberg. 2 away.
You go, Robbie Erlin. Rock on with your bad self. He's making some good pitches.
When did bad become good in the lexicon, our lexicon? Huh?
I would say in the 60s.
It's like when did hot become cool, and they both mean the same thing. He's hot,
yeah,
and now he's cool.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It is. It's confusing.
It is confusing.
You know, you live long enough and everything means the same. Mr. Galvis, he bounced into a double play the first time. And there's a looper into right center field, the first hit of the night for Philadelphia. Erlin had gone 4 2/3. And Galvis just reaches out and punches that single to right center.
Well, he'll give him the single. That was a ball that just leaped up and away to Galvis, and that's probably one of the easiest pitches to hit for a single. Robbie's been working up by design. He's been working in by design. That was a changeup, just left over the heart of the plate a little bit too much. There were 2 outs. Hopefully he can get a quick out here to get out of the inning.
Threat to steal, Galvis. Peter Borges is the batter. Good play made by Spangenberg to throw him out in the 3rd inning. That was a play where Spangenberg had to range far to his right backhand and then make the jump throw over to first in time. No score. First single, first base hit for the Phillies here in the 5th with 2 gone. To right.
See that wind whipping up. You can hear from the field mics, and also Robbie Erlin's jersey.
Yeah, that's a good 20-mile-an-hour wind, and I think it's gusting up 25, 28. Out of the north. Breaking ball doesn't quite snap down into the zone.
Better make sure you have that nice grip on that curveball, because if you don't, you can leave it up, and that could spell trouble. Change up grip from Robbie Erlin. He will adjust accordingly in his glove.
You know, on a cold night, what would be better than something spicy hot like a Cholula, huh?
Good call,
How
Professor.
about a flamethrower?
You ask and you shall receive.
Good.
Cholula flamethrower for Robbie Erlin. Hey, 91. Not a lot of spice, but good tasting.
You don't want to overpower. Sometimes just enough. That Cholula to bring out the full taste of a meal. A ball, 2 strikes. Borges. Galvis a safe lead, respecting Erlin's kickoff move, the left-hander.
Curveball. Pull it. Throw it. Be aggressive with it. Get it down.
Runner goes. And a foul ball off to the left. You at our hotel, they present the USA Today newspaper in the morning, and on your floor there's a little table there by the elevators, and
right.
I hope you got yours, because it was a terrific article in the sports section on Vin Scully.
Oh,
Bob Nightingale wrote a wonderful
Oh, Bob's
story.
a great writer.
Yeah. Runner goes again, strike 3 swinging. And that's it for the Phils in the 5th inning. 4th strikeout for Robbie Erlin, pitching a beauty. No score in Philadelphia. We have only 3 hits in the ball game.
As we head to the top of the 6th, no score, and I'm here with Corey Spangenberg's parents, Lynn and sister Heather. and his mom Lynn and his dad Ken. Nice to see you guys. So what is it like to be able to see Corey play here so close to home? You guys are from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
We are. It's really nice to be able to see him. It's wonderful that friends and family can be here, and we know they are, and we really appreciate everyone coming to see him. It really means a lot.
I heard that it's not a strange sight to see a lot of kids running around Scranton, Pennsylvania with Spangenberg jerseys.
No, there's a few now. It's funny to watch them run around. It's pretty neat.
Now, Heather, I know that you've got 3 brothers, Corey being one of them, and he said that you guys are very competitive. He said that you guys are athletes. How competitive is your household?
It's like one big wrestling match when we're all home. It gets pretty intense.
Is there ever a fight at the dinner table for the mashed potatoes?
Not those.
Always.
Potatoes.
All right, well, thanks so much, guys. We appreciate you being here and talking to us. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Julia. Well, unfortunately, Corey unable to produce a base hit while mom and dad and sister were watching and talking with Julie Alexandria. Bounces out on a 3-1 put out for the first out of the 6th inning of the scoreless tie. Matt Kemp has one of the 2 Padre hits, a single to right field the last time. The other hit a double John Jay, and the only hit allowed by Robbie Erlin in the last inning, a single shortstop Freddie Galvis. Shift is on. Kemp beat the shift by hitting it right in that vacant area on the right side. Right there.
Yep.
Morton still with a good lively fastball on this cold night. 75 pitches. Only 58 for Erlin to get through 5 innings. Padres had a couple of chances to get on the board, a 2-out double by Jay, but Spangenberg struck out, and then they had a little help from Philadelphia, a walk and an error by Howard and a single in the 4th inning. 1st and 3rd with a 4th out, but Ramirez grounded to short to end the inning. 2-1. Brett Wallace next. Will Myers not in the starting lineup for the first time. Swing and a miss.
Looks like a good changeup out of the hand of Charlie Morton. Tremendous movement as well. Change up again. Fastball in.
Fouled at the plate. Well, Andy Green feeling with Will Myers sitting this one out as a starter, and as we said earlier, they'll give Matt Kemp a day's rest as well, probably on the day game on Thursday. And it's such a long season that sometimes you feel, well, you know, it's only April. You can play all your regulars every game. He says, no, I think it all takes a toll, and I want to keep them fresh.
I like it. I'll tell you what, the more and more I talk and get to know Andy Green, the more and more I like.
Ground ball right into the shift, and Galvis from shortstop throws him out. And a reminder that our game is presented in HD by Sony. Brett Wallace has grounded to short. Actually, a play made by the 3rd baseman Franco in the shift, and he struck out on a 3-2 pitch the last time.
Brett Wallace electing to go sleeveless in Philadelphia tonight. Some guys just don't like the feel of the long sleeves on their arms all the way down to the wrist. They want to be free and easy. Feel it's a little restricting maybe. Plus you get a chance to show off the guns.
Those forearms, you bet. Franco moves from 3rd over to the 2nd base position with second baseman Hernandez out on the outfield grass. Only Galvis on the left side. Powers that one way upstairs to the left. Cold as there's a shift. Trying to take away the pulling tendency of Wallace. Off the fist, easy roller to Howard, and another 1-2-3 inning. Middle of the 6th, still a scoreless tie. All right, thank you, Michael. Yeah, I'm sure they're having a great time there, as we are here in Philadelphia. A terrific pitchers duel. Robbie Erlin against Charlie Morton, as Erlin goes to work. Bottom of the 6th, Tyler Goodell. And a little low, ball 1. Goodell, pitcher spot Morton, and then Cesar Hernandez, the leadoff hitter for the Phillies here in the 6th. Goodell lined to shortstop his first time, and he pulls that one into the hole and through. Second hit for Philadelphia. A leadoff man is on for the first time for the Phillies. His first hit of the season.
When you're down to the zone as a pitcher, yeah, you're going to give up some singles. That one hits right out in front of home plate, but just out of the reach of Alexei Ramirez. And with Charlie Morton coming to the plate, a couple of factors here. Is he going to put the bunt down to get him over? Is he going to do the old butcher boy?
That's Goodell's first major league hit, so they'll collect that baseball for the memorabilia. And it'll be a treasured reminder that his first hit came on a cold night in Philadelphia in April. Morton squares, jabs at that one foul.
Boy, Alexei Marista anticipating that bunt. He was nearly down the throat of Charlie Morton, coming in aggressively towards the plate. You get a hard bunt, you can go the short way, or the long way, I should say, to get that lead runner at second base.
Throw to second base, but a bad throw, and they're going to call it a foul ball. Ball in the dirt there for a moment. I thought he had missed it completely, and Norris alertly firing through to second base.
Derek Norris was all over it. I mean, he was quickly out of the crouch. I wonder why that was a foul ball. Didn't look like it came up and hit Morton again.
The ball was right there at the front edge of the plate. The plate's in fair territory.
Yeah, maybe Angel Hernandez thought that ball was behind home plate. Just a thought, but I'm right there with you, Dick. That looked like it could have been a fair ball.
Outside, 1-2. Checking down at third at Juan Samuel, the third base coach, to see if they're going to wipe off the bunt, let him swing away. Looks like he could still play, Samuel.
Shook off the changeup. Here comes the old deuce.
All the way to the screen. Goodness gracious. Better hurry, Derek. Rounding and holding is Goodell at second. So the Padres sacrifice the runner to second on the wild pitch.
This one bounces well in front of home plate. So much that it goes over the right shoulder of Derek Norris. Now the Phillies have a chance to bunt him over to third base.
So with a man on first, he was trying to bunt toward first. Now with a man on second, he'll try to force Amarista to field the bunt. Or maybe swinging. No, he's going to bunt and take strike 3. Well, he got the job done just by standing in the batter's box, missing a couple of bunt tries, but the wild pitch does the job for Philadelphia.
Changeup right on the outside corner.
Cesar Hernandez has grounded out twice. Each team with 2 hits, no score. Bottom of the 6th. See the wind just blow that on a high arc way back in foul territory. And Matt Kemp in right field, and the right fielder Burgess of Philadelphia need to be aware that anything hit straight away is going to carry quickly toward the line. Oh, 2. Amarista now can back up at third. He was playing just off the grass in respect to Hernandez's bunting ability. Shallow in right center, Jay. inside. One out. Phils have a man in scoring position for the first time tonight. In the dirt. "70 pitches for Robbie Erlin. Been very efficient. A couple of walks and a couple of singles. That's all.
Step off. Got to get on the same page right there as Derek Norris. He was going about 3 or 4 signs, and just to regather yourself, step off, start from page 1 again.
Breaking ball fouled away.
Hey, heads up on the left side of the infield with that breaking ball, because speed up the bat of that right-handed hitter. So Alexei Ramirez right here and Alexei Amarista got to be heads up, and that's why the infield is shifted that way. Corey Spangenberg sneaking a little bit over towards second base as well, and Brett Wallace way off the line.
Full count now to Cesar Hernandez. Odubel Herrera on deck, and then Michael Franco.
Okay, with the runner at second, a series of signs. So maybe the first sign, maybe first sign after 2. I'm guessing changeup.
Swing and a miss.
Yes.
You're guessing right. 6 strikeouts for Erlin. 2 away.
That is a huge pitch from the left-hander Robbie Erlin. Sure, first base is open, but that could potentially be another run for the fighting Phils. He fights him off with a cambio. I heart cambio. Big strikeout.
Now it shifts to Odubel Herrera, who struck out swinging and walked the last time. He's the hot hitter. 1 home run, 4 runs batted in. Wide stance. Look at that front foot. Spike showing. And then he steps back toward the plate as the pitch is made.
You make a good point, that front foot. Maybe that forces him to stay back, because when your foot's like that, you can't put a lot of pressure on it. So all your weight's on your back foot. Maybe forces him to stay back on that. Everybody has their own little idiosyncrasies to keep them back and not drift forward. Weight on his, now he's putting on the front, now on the back. It actually looks like he's putting a lot of weight on that front side. Interesting.
Late swing, 1-1. Robbie's just 25 years of age. His high school education there in the beautiful Carmel area, Scotts Valley. Way upstairs, 2-1. You'd like to get Herrera here, because Franco on deck has a 6-game hitting streak and is batting over 400. Right field, and then Wynn's going to take it into the corner. Goodell will score. Racing around second is Herrera, and he's going to make it to third easily. A triple for Herrera, and the Phils break the scoreless tie.
It's amazing with the pitcher's duel late into the ball game. It could be one pitch that just catches too much of the plate. That was a great shot. Overhead shot of that breaking ball. He caught it out in front, but it was right down the heart of the plate. Off-speed pitch as well. So he pulls it, keeps it fair. And And with that speed, easily cruises into third base with an RBI triple.
And that ball started on the line. Normal conditions might have been in the range for Matt Kemp to make a catch, but the wind spanking that right into the corner for an easy triple. So now the key is to keep it at 1-0, but Franco 0 for 2 tonight. A tough out. Erlin now can work from the full windup. Breaking ball in there. That one down the line. Wynn is pushing it, and it's foul. Oh, that was going to be a double without the heavy winds blowing right toward that corner. Look at how that ball tails off to the right. So 2 strikes on Franco as he returns to the plate.
Well, he likes to get extended. That was apparent that last pitch. Maybe Robbie Erlin trying to bury something inside right here.
22nd pitch of this inning. And he gets him with that inside fastball, and a generous call by Angel Hernandez. Disbelief from Maikel Franco, but the inning is over. The Phils get a run on a single and a triple. Herrera knocking in the first run of the game. And Erlin has his 7th strikeout. He winds up striking out the side, but the Phillies have a run. Welcome back, top of the 7th. The Phillies leading 1-0. It'll be Melvin Upton, Derek Norris, Alexei Ramirez for the Padres against Charlie Morton. 85th pitch of the night coming up from Morton. He's allowed only 2 hits, 2 walks. And there's a 3rd hit as a line shot to the opposite field for Melvin Upton. He lined out his first time and walked. And the leadoff man on. Padres try to get that tying run around.
That was a beautiful swing, not overpowering the swing at all. Letting the Shillelagh do the work. Dropping the head, center of the plate. Oh, that's a good sound.
Derek Norris has walked and was safe on the error by Ryan Howard when he dropped what should have been a double play conversion. Big hole on the right side with Howard anchored at the bag. Upton, a good base stealer, always has been. Definite threat. Norris not a bad hit and run man. See if anything's in the works here.
Well, you know what? That's a good point because you got a sinker ball pitcher. He's a strike thrower. There's a good chance for putting that runner in motion to stay out of the double play.
Slow breaking ball drops in. Left-hander Stumpf and right-hander Neris in the bullpen. That's a good looking pitch.
Absolutely. Did you see Ruiz kind of took that one out of the zone? That was a darn good curveball. I'll bet you that was a strike. But Ruiz kind of took that one out of the zone as he caught that ball. Look at the pitch number 2. Well, Derek Norris got a call there.
And now a high strike. And it was, according to our Nissan Fox track, in the strike zone. Each team with 3 hits. Phillies getting a single and a triple in the bottom of the 6th for the only run. Inside, 2-2. Norris has walked. And as we mentioned, safe on the air. Ball dropped by Howard on the double play possibility. With the second baseman Hernandez swung over in double play position. You see the big hole on the right side if Norris wants to aim one in that direction.
Sinker in.
And he got him. Another strikeout, number 7 for Charlie Morton. Alexei Ramirez has grounded out twice.
Well, if you get that call inside, you go back inside, and it's great 2-seam action. And where does it end up? Yeah, that ties up Derek Norris nicely. That's a chalk ball on the inside part of the plate, off the plate for the strikeout.
Breaking ball off the plate. Ryan Bucher getting ready for the Padres, the lefty. Erlin is scheduled to hit 3 men away. Good take, 2-0. Up in there at first base. You talk about his stealing potential. He had some big years in his prime in Tampa Bay. 44, 42, 42, 36 steals in 4 consecutive years from 2008 to 2011. He's got a bigger lead. Stays. The ball grounded foul past third. That didn't sound good. I think Ramirez is going to need a new bat. 274 career steals for Melvin Jr.
Kind of surprised that he hasn't attempted to try to steal second base. You know, I'm guessing that if you've got some speed, that if you get a jump in a certain situation, go ahead and try to take it. Especially with a strike thrower like Charlie Morton on the mound.
Tarek Brock, the first base coach, reminding him perhaps he's waiting. We'll try to steal with 2 outs. By staying at first base, he opens up that hole on the right side. See if Ramirez can keep it going here in the 7th.
Well, Morton's thinking maybe quick throw to first.
Nothing Phillies here in the top of the 7th inning.
Change up. Split.
Runner goes. The throw to second base is in time. Carlos Ruiz, a veteran, at quick release, and he erases Melvin Upton for the second out.
It was on an off-speed pitch as well. Kind of an abbreviated slide step. There's the off-speed pitch right from the ear. Fires a strike, and it's perfectly located. Well, he's a good one. This ball right out in front of the bag. And where did that one miss?
And a full count now to Ramirez. 95 pitches now for Morton. He's worked another beauty against the Padres, true to form. Ball 4. So a 2-out walk. Ramirez will bring up Alexi Amarista.
Well, we have a minute. Hey, Saturday, I want to tune in. UFC Fight Night returns to Fox as two of the UFC's top light heavyweights collide. Glover Teixeira squares off against former world champion Rashad Evans, plus Yoto Machida takes on Dan Henderson. It all starts at 3 p.m. Pacific on local Fox affiliate, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go.
Amarista has lined to left and grounded to second. Ruiz out to chat with his pitcher here as the pitch count approaching 100 for the right-hander. He's scattered 3 base hits, a couple of singles and a double. He's walked 3.
I think that's the first time tonight that Ruiz has paid a visit to Morton. He just takes a little walk out behind the mound to gather himself. He's been in control tonight, as Robbie Erlin has been in control. It's just that one pitch down the right field line that scored a run. Both pitchers have been on tonight.
Amarista replacing Yangervis Solarte at third base, came up to start yesterday and first at bat singled and scored. Also executed that perfect safety squeeze winning run. 2-0. Both pitches well outside.
I love that shot. The overhead shot there gives you a great angle on where the ball crosses the plate.
Outside again. 3-0.
Kind of laboring a little bit. Hey, he's been wild out of the zone the last couple pitches. Maybe he'll miss in the zone, and that could spell trouble as Will Myers waits on deck.
Myers would hit for pitcher Erlin if Amarista can get aboard. Walker a hit. And another pitch outside. All 4. Look at the box track. Nissan, all 4 pitches wide. And on a couple of walks, the Padres have the tying and go-ahead scores aboard. And we check on our Fan Diego fan of the game.
Oh, there's a Robbie Erlin fan, number 41. Go Rob. Sporting the S Day here in Philadelphia. I see a lot of them here at Citizens Bank Park. Welcome to Philly. Go Pods.
Both pitchers are going to leave the game at this moment. Pete McCannon's going to replace the man on the mound, Charlie Morton. And Andy Green is going to replace Erlin with pinch hitter Will Myers. Padres a couple of men aboard on walks with 2 outs, and Will Myers will pinch hit, and we have a new hurler on the mound for Philadelphia, Hector Neris, and this pitching change brought to you by El Cajon Ford.
Well, Hector Neris, a 3-pitch pitcher. He's got a split-finger fastball to go along with the regular fastball and a slider. He's kind of a topping out at a mid-90s type guy. And this season in the 4 games, pretty good numbers. No runs allowed. And the splits look really, really good.
4 1/3 innings. He's allowed only 1 hit, striking out 5.
A homegrown Phil. Spent a little time last year, 32 games with these Phillies, and also in 2014. So trying to make his mark in the bullpen, inheriting 2 runners.
26-year-old from the Dominican Republic. Here's Myers. He homered yesterday, his 2nd of the season, 2nd of the road trip. And takes ball 1. Key blow yesterday, took the score from 2-0 to 3-0, got a hanger, and knocked it into the left center field bleachers. Two and 0.
Oh, this is good. Work the count. Try to use the big part of the field. Don't get pull happy in this situation. You get a little froggy. You try to pull the baseball. You top it. Phillies get a grounder. And if you can think center field and right center field, that would be huge.
After Upton singled, thrown out trying to steal, 2 out walks to Ramirez and Amarista. Enter Hector Neris, and he throws a high strike. 2-1. So Fernandez has been consistent. He's been calling that high strike, but not the low strike.
Yep.
With 2 outs, runners ready to go. Foul back.
Oh, he had a fat one, didn't he? And look at Will, he's shaking his head. That one kind of leaked up and in a little bit.
It's a little different role for Will Myers. He's not accustomed to sitting on the bench for a couple hours in a cold night and then jumping out and pinch hitting. 2 and 2.
A lot of pitches have been up.
And he struck him out. So there haven't been many opportunities for the Padres. Another goes by the boards. Stretch half of the 7th in Philadelphia. And the home team leads it 1-0. Padres baseball brought to you by Sequan Casino. Sign up for the new Padres Club card today. By Jack in the Box. Taste the Baconlicious Sourdough Bacon Ranch Combo. And by Mercury Insurance. We're on a mission to save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com today. Ryan Buchter comes in out of Padre bullpen and will face Ryan Howard, Carlos Ruiz, and Freddie Galvis. Phillies leading 1-0 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. This is the 4th appearance of the season for Buchter.
Well, yesterday the bullpen did quite well. We talked about that in our pregame show. 4+ innings. Well, even though he trailed by a run, this is a key inning for Ryan Buchter. Lefty on lefty, we know the numbers. Howard, horrible numbers against left-handers. He's got to get him out right here.
Erlin got Howard to fly to right and struck him out. So Robbie Erlin goes 6 innings, 1 run, only 3 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts.
That's a good day in the big leagues.
It is good enough to win a game, you would think. Charlie Morton, 6 2/3, no runs, 3 hits, walked 4 and struck out 7.
That's also a good day in the big leagues.
2-0 to Howard.
Cannot afford to walk Ryan Howard, especially with those numbers we talked about versus left-handed pitchers.
High pop up. Well, the wind's going to play with that. Ramirez circling, and here comes Upton, but it is Ramirez who makes the play. That gives us a chance to go down to Julie Alexandria. Julie?
Hey guys, well, this is somewhat of a homecoming for 29-year-old Ryan Buchter. He was born in Reading, Pennsylvania, grew up in Blackwood, New Jersey, which is South Jersey, just over the border, and he grew up a Phillies fan. He said he's always wanted to pitch here. He didn't get to last season. He had a ton of family here, including his girlfriend and her family. Unfortunately, he didn't make it into the game yesterday, but he said growing up, his favorite player was Chase Utley.
So a pitcher that admired a hard-hitting, switch-hitting infielder, or left-handed hitting. David Hernandez, hard-throwing right-hander, is getting ready in the Philadelphia bullpen. Here's Ruiz. He's walked and grounded out. Strike 1 on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. There's Hernandez, Baltimore, Arizona, and now a Philadelphia Philly. Pours in another fastball strike.
There he comes. And Ryan Buchter trying to quiet the crowd with his pitching effort. Wastes one there.
Well, you feel sorry for the Fanatic on a hot, humid summer day in Philadelphia with that outfit, but might feel pretty good on a night like this.
Pretty toasty.
Temperature reaching down into the 40s, and the chill factor much colder than that with this strong breeze blowing in. Just 3 hits, but the big blow, the triple by Odubel Herrera into the right field corner that knocked in Tyler Goodell. Goodell with his first major league hit, first major league run. And a full count. Fly ball. Spangenberg is the wind pulling it toward the foul line.
Oh!
And he dropped it. We knew that's going to happen sooner or later tonight. A very tricky win. And a 2-base error. And to Ruiz's credit, he never got running him, and he went full bore all the way to second.
Exactly, Dick. On a night like tonight, you got to bust your tail out of the box, and You know what the weird thing about that is? It looked like Corey had a bead on it, and all of a sudden that ball just, I mean, both hands up in the air, anticipating, then all of a sudden, not even close. Tough break for San Diego. Got some work to do for Ryan Buchter.
Freddie Galvis has grounded into a double play and had the first hit of the game for Philadelphia. That didn't come till 2 outs in the 5th inning off Robbie Erlin. On the outside corner. Buchter picked up when the Atlanta Braves allowed his presence on the waiver wire. Padres like the looks of this hard-throwing 29-year-old left-hander. He's been patient, finally making it to the big leagues. First came into Pro Bowl 2006. Two and one. Throwing in the Padre pen.
Infielders getting dirty, diving for a grounder on the infield. Don't let it get through for a base hit to the outfield. And if you're an outfielder and there's a base hit, come up throwing. Ruiz does not have good speed at second base.
Three and one, just missing that low outside. Peter Borges on deck. Right center field, Jay. That ball died in a hurry, didn't it? Off the bat, looked as if that might carry it much farther. So a line out for the second out. Robbie Erlin giving the Padres a quality start tonight.
He did a nice job up and down, in and out. The curveball was key. Got some grounders. The infielders working for him on that double play. Going up the ladder to Ryan Howard. He was just in complete control. Had a good feel of all of his pitches and hitting his spots. I really like the changeup tonight from Robbie. He got some calls, but hey, that's going to happen. That's a good night for Robbie Erlin.
Only 5 base runners, a couple of walks and 3 hits, but Philadelphia combined a single leading off by Tyler Goodell in the 6th inning and the 2-out triple for Odubel Herrera for the run.
I'll tell you what, if you hit a line drive to the outfield and you want to hit a home run tonight, right now, you're going to have to go down a couple clubs because that wind is right coming in straight from center field.
Borges grounded to second and struck out. Fooled on that one, 0-2.
You're going to have to hit a good 1-iron. And that's blowing straight in. Not too many people can hit a 1-iron. Good idea. Good idea. 0-2. It looked like a little cutter down and into Borges.
And to hold the Phillies after the 2-base error by Spangenberg. Running out of time, the Padres. In the 8th inning, they'll open things from the top of the order. John Jay.
Heavy dose of stuff inside. I like it.
Carlos Ruiz out at second base with 2 outs. Recipient of The 2 bases on the drop fly ball. Spangenberg. 20th pitch of the inning. Buchter. And Borges fouls off another. Count stays at 2 strikes. Just looking over the minor league notes. Kid at Fort Wayne, Austin Allen. He was a 4th-round pick of the Padres, a catcher a year ago. He started his minor league career 14 for 18. Austin Allen.
Stay hot.
Drafted him out of Florida Tech. Youngsters on the way.
See Borges choking up on that bat, anticipating that pitch inside. We've got a battle going on here, and there's going to be a little powwow out on the mound there with Derek Norris and Buchter. Remember, every pitch has been inside from the knees to the letters to Peter Borges. Does he try to trick him and throw something soft away? Does he continue to bury it inside? I love battles like this.
And Key with a 1-0 score on the board, trying to hold that runner Ruiz, get out of the inning, keep it tight. Popped up. Here comes the wind. Spangenberg, Kemp, Spangenberg makes the play. And that's it for the 7th inning, and no damage done. John Jay has a double in 3 trips tonight. He'll be leading off for the Padres in the 8th inning. All right, thank you, Mike. He wears his age on his sleeve. Number 30, David Hernandez. First couple of years in the big leagues in Baltimore. The last 4 seasons with Arizona. Last year with the Diamondbacks, it was 1-5 with a 4.28 ERA. 40 appearances, all in relief. Hard throwing. Jay, the batter. 94 on the fastball.
It's been kind of a weird strike zone tonight as Hernandez buries that fastball on the inside part of the plate. It looked like a pretty good pitch, but he didn't get the call. Fastball, curveball, changeup from David Hernandez.
That one misses. 2-1. Jay, Spangenberg, and Kemp scheduled for the Padres here in the 8th. They've had base runners in only 3 innings seriously. Foul back, good cut. They had Jay's double with 2 outs in the 3rd. Couldn't get him home. They had runners at 1st and 3rd and 2 outs in the 4th. Ramirez grounded out. They had a single and a couple of walks, but Upton thrown out trying to steal. So then the 2 out walks. They brought in Neris, and he struck out pinch hitter Myers. And a full count. Kevin Quackenbush threw 6 pitches last night, got the win. Slap foul. Well, we hope you'll be with us tomorrow, 4 o'clock on Fox Sports San Diego. Padres Live, the pregame show. Colin Ray on the mound for the Padres, and Jared Eichhoff. Let's say no actually 4 o'clock, and we'll be first pitch at 4:05. No pregame show. And ball 4, a leadoff walk. About a third of the time, leadoff walks come around to score.
Making it interesting. David Hernandez kind of shaking his head. I don't know whether he's shaking his head on the call or maybe the swing. This ball looked like it was. That's off the plate, but does he go? Oh, I thought he went.
Well, you always do.
Well, the bat was way out in front of home plate, you know?
I think you're right.
So, hey, take advantage of that.
Spangenberg had a rough night. Struck out twice, rolled out to first, and committed an error. So he's due with all the family and friends here to cheer him on. And he takes strike 1. 94 on that fastball. A ball and a strike to Spangenberg. Bullpen busy for the Phillies. They've got a couple of men up. Daniel Stump for the 2nd time, and Hinojosa, we saw him yesterday. Can't catch up to the 93-mile-an-hour fastball up in the letters. Pulled to first. Howard to second for 1. Back to first, not in time. Tough to double up Spangenberg with his speed. So the Padres trade more speed for the out as Jay jogs back to the dugout. Spangenberg can really turn it on, and let's see if we can get him to hit home plate. Matt Kemp with Brett Wallace next.
Well, you've got a guy who can put the ball out of the ballpark, a guy who can hit the extra base hit the opposite way and see that speed from Corey Spangenberg. This is the situation right here. Big at bat for San Diego.
Kemp has grounded out twice when he's pulled the ball into the shift. Shortstop throwing him out, and singled going the other way. No shift here with a man on first.
First pitch slider right here.
Fouled it off.
Outfield looks like it's pretty straight up. Center field, Herrera just a couple of steps on the 3rd base side of 2nd base. And a little bit to pull and left for Goodell.
Hernandez taking a long time in that stretch position, trying to get Spangenberg to commit, so called time. Kemp. Popped up right side. Howard wants it. 2 away. Well, starter Charlie Morton came into the game with a 4-1 record against the Padres and a 179 batting average against, and he continued in that pattern. He rose 6 2/3 shutout innings and allowed only 3 hits. Got some good defensive support from Michael Franco. Punched out 7 along the way. He stands to win it. 2 outs now here in the 8th inning, and Brett Wallace 0 for 3. Shift on. Ball 1. Second baseman Hernandez not out in shallow right field, just on the grass. Plenty of power. He was peppering the bleacher seats in batting practice.
One mistake, one hanger.
Late strike call by Hernandez. You know, hitters have various head positions, and as you see, Hossa warming up, and look at how his head almost straight to the pitcher, not out of the right eye, but the full 2-eye look at the pitcher. Wallace. Ball foul. 1 and 2. Two out, tying run at first base, Spangenberg. Here in the 8th inning. Padres need a run to tie. Time running out. Swing and a miss. And the Padres have struck out again. That's 10 punch-outs by the Phillies pitching tonight. Padres baseball brought to you by California Center for Sustainable Energy. It's easy to stay golden at energyupgradeca.org. By Petco, your complete pet store. And by your San Diego County Lexus dealers. Kevin Quackenbush out of the bullpen here in the 8th inning. He'll face Goodell, the pitcher spot, and Hernandez with the Phillies hanging on to a 1-0 lead.
It's been one pitch. That's why it's 1-0 down the right field line, scoring a run for Philadelphia. That was back in the 6th inning. Enter Kevin Quackenbush. Got the win yesterday. Nice job by the bullpen. Good split so far in the early season, and 3 1/3 innings pitched for Kevin Quackenbush.
We got 2 outs in the 6th inning on 6 pitches, and Padres scored in the top of the 7th. So Quackenbush with one of those quick wins out of the bullpen. Cedric Hunter is going to pinch hit for Goodell. Hunter started last night. Former Padre property, drafted by the Padres. One and one the count.
Has trouble with the breaking ball. That's apparent for Cedric the Entertainer Hunter.
And we had a sellout on opening day for the Phillies yesterday. Announced crowd of 45,229. These are the real fans. 21,043 braving a cold, windy night on this Tuesday to watch their Phillies out of play. Andres Blanco in the on-deck circle for the Phillies. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Or did he get a piece? Well, got a piece of that one, stays alive. Just did top that one. James Shields bantering with Will Myers.
Yeah, James Shields playing it smart and wearing the toque, keeping that coconut warm.
Shields will open the upcoming homestand Friday night against Arizona, and will draw Zach Greinke as his opposing pitcher. Tomorrow night it'll be Colin Ray.
Colin's choosing the hoodie to keep the cabeza warm.
Jeanmar Gomez has worked his way into the closer position for the Phillies. He's warming up in the pen. Padres in the 9th inning, looking ahead, have Upton, Norris, and Ramirez scheduled. With 3 right-handed batters, and Pete McKinnon's going to get a right-hander warm. Trying to close the deal. Hunter, tough at bat, fouls off another. Yep. 8th pitch of the at bat coming up. Always like this Phillies uniform with the blue stars over the eyes.
Very nice.
2-2. There's Gomez. Bullpen fell apart in Cincinnati, the opening series. All 3 games won by Cincinnati, and the Phils were ahead in those games. And ball 3. Upton, Norris, and Ramirez. Only Upton with a base hit. Padres have only 3. Double by Jay. Singles for Kemp and Upton. All over the place. Quackenbush. Pitch number 10. And he walked it. And time for our Bill Howe play of the game. It is the one swing of the bat by Odubel Herrera that produced an RBI. A triple for Herrera that scored Tyler Goodell with single to start the inning, and that's the run that gets bigger and bigger as we progress here toward the 9th inning. And Pete McKinnon has changed his mind and pulled back Gomez. It'll be Emmanuel Burris. Burris will hit. Speedy switch hitter. Padres looking for the sacrifice. Burris pinch hit yesterday, struck out.
Hey, remember, they can't show bunt, pull back, and slap that ball. Boy, Alexi Amarista at third base. Look at how close he is. That's
better have a good dental plan.
Yeah. Yes, he did. Oh, I thought he jabbed at it. Didn't get his bat back in time.
2-0.
That's a strike. He went for it. Did he not?
Well, he
Oh, he
started to go,
definitely
and
jabbed at that.
Then he pulled it
That's
back.
an offer.
Well, Hernandez saw it.
Of course he didn't.
And Balsley out to talk with Quackenbush and try to coax a strike out of him after the leadoff walk, and he falls behind Burris 2-0.
Okay, in this situation, we mentioned it many times, get and out. Don't try to get too cute, too perfect on a throw. Sure, you want to get that lead runner, but if you can't, and he puts it down, get that out at first base.
Pete McKinnon, now that the count's 2-0, lets him swing. No, still up there to square, and another ball. 3-0. Not good. A leadoff walk.
Yeah.
That was well earned by Hunter. 10 pitch at bat. Now 3 misses from Quackenbush.
It looks like Darren Balsley quickly going to the phone in that Padre dugout. Might see some action in the Padre pen, and it looks like what's going to happen.
Boy, that was him close to throwing a strike. Back-to-back walks. And no one out. Top of the order, Cesar Hernandez. At Hand, who pitched a third of an inning last night. The left-hander is first to get up. We got Hernandez, a switch hitter. And then the left-handed hitting Herrera.
Well, in this cold weather, you've been sitting around for a while. It's going to take a while possibly for Brad Hand, and there's already been a visit to the mound, so rapid fire in that Padre bullpen.
Hernandez has grounded out twice and struck out. Those 3 at bats against Robbie Erlin.
Come on now.
Another one out of the strike zone. That's 6 in a row. Padres had the wheel play on with Ramirez charging over to third to cover, and Amarista, they do it again, and it's bunted in the air right to Amarista. The throw to first, not in time. So 1 out. And here's Odubel Herrera. He's the star for the Phillies tonight with a RBI triple.
You know, this ball was bunted in the air, and Alexi caught it through to first base. I thought he was going to airmail it to first. As soon as that ball left his hand, I thought under it just a little bit, but not the case there.
Spangenberg,
Big play.
covering it first.
Going over a little scouting report. Hey, Quack, how do you want to go after this guy? Remember, he's got in the back of his head the hit that he got down the right field line for that triple. I believe it was a breaking ball or a changeup, something off speed that he got out in front of.
Well, that was just buying some time to go out to the mound to allow Hand to throw a couple more tosses in the pen, because here comes Andy Green. He'll make a pitching change, and the southpaw beckoned from the bullpen with 2 on, 1 out, 8th inning, and the Phillies a 1-0 lead.
The Phils lead the Pods at 1-0, and while we have a moment, stay tuned after the game as the crew breaks down the ball game and talks with the players and coaches on Padres Live. Coming up next on Fox Sports San Diego, brought to you by Cox. They do such a great job, so stay tuned.
We'll have some highlights from around baseball, I'm sure. The Arizona Diamondbacks beat the Dodgers tonight, so the Dodgers are now 4-4 on the season. Diamondbacks moved to 3-5. Baltimore, the only big league team without a loss so far this season. They're in Boston, and they're in the lead in the late innings as Brad Hand takes over. Picked up after the season opened from Miami. He was the top pick of the Marlins, second-round pick back in 2008. Working out of the bullpen. Left-hander against left-hander.
And remember, it was lefty against lefty when Robbie Erlin was out there. That triple off-speed pitch. It'll be interesting to see how Brad Hand pitches to Herrera here in this situation.
He struck out, walked, and the RBI triple. How big is that now? 1-0 Phillies.
Let's see if he keeps the hard stuff away.
Padres looking for a ground ball chance, double play. First fastball outside. Hunter and Burris aboard on walks. Pretty good pitch, didn't get the call. Ground ball pulled foul. Happy birthday today to David Letterman. We miss you. He's 69 today. Good baseball fan. See where that Detroit Tiger fan yesterday in one game got 4 foul balls? 4,
really?
During a game.
That's sitting in the right spot.
It sure is. They get bouncing to him. 1-1 pitch coming up. Brad Hand. Double Herrera over the top of the helmet. That was an off-speed pitch. The fans are going because it's a bad direction, but no intent there.
You know, I'm more amazed that Derek Norris came up and caught this ball. I mean, that's coming out of the crouch, having to reach up across your body over the head. And you see how Herrera got rid of the bat so it doesn't hit the bat, foul ball, or maybe that ball in play if the bat is still in your hand. And get rid of that bat when it's above your head.
So 2-1 to Herrera. Hunter out at second, Burris at first. Good speed, both men. Fired that 90-mile-an-hour fastball right through his swing.
Yeah, that's just a good old-fashioned fastball, and that's just a good old-fashioned couple of hot dog hats.
They're going to be the highlight of the dance right after the game. That hot dog, you better eat it fast tonight. It gets to be a cold dog. Don't like cold dogs.
No. How about a hot pitch right here from Brad Hand for a strikeout? Or a grounder for a double play.
There you go. Padres have turned a couple tonight. Well, checking the scoreboard, Washington leads Atlanta 2-0 late. Braves yet to win a game. They're 0-6, first time in almost 30 years. Starting that poorly. 3-2 now.
As I mentioned earlier in the game, with the wind and the cold temperatures, it's tough to get a grip on the baseball. You see Brad Hand consistent going to his mouth to create some moisture so you get a good grip on that baseball.
Runners take their lead 3-2 with 1 out. Slaps at the left field. That's a tough play. It's slicing away from Upton, foul. So with the wind blowing in, with any kind of spin at all on the ball off the bat, it's going to just exaggerate the flight of the ball to the foul lines. Runners return. West action. The Dodgers losing to Arizona, and the Giants are at Colorado. They're tied at 1 there in the 4th. Here's the repeat 3-2 pitch. Swung at ball 4. And that last foul ball. And a newcomer having trouble getting on the same page with catcher Norris on the sign. Now he's ready. And at ball 4, and it skips away. And Amariso's going to hustle over to field the ball by the Padre dugout. Make sure that the runners don't come all the way around. So here in the 8th inning, the Phillies have the bases loaded, all on bases on balls.
Kevin Quackenbush having trouble throwing strikes. It seems that Brad Hand doing the same, and good hustle by Alexei on that ball 4. Tell you what, got some work to do here. Force it any base. Work for a grounder, something down in the zone.
Maikel Franco has not hurt the Padres tonight, but he's hitting 400 coming in. He's fouled out, hit into a double play, and struck out.
See Andy Green going 2 on the infield, the setting for the infield.
They play halfway up the middle, and another ball in the dirt.
Hey, Derek Norris doing a fine job of blocking these baseballs, and this one particularly just in back of home plate, takes it right off the chest protector. Anytime a ball in dirt gets away, pitcher, what are you doing? You're busting your tail towards home plate. Better that you're there and not needed than the other way around.
Ball hit to the corners, 3rd and 1st. They'll come to the plate up the middle. They might try to turn 2 at 2nd. Another pitch out of the zone. Darren Balsley out to talk to Hand.
Home plate seems to be moving around this inning for the Padre pitchers.
Wind isn't quite that strong, but surely is jumping. Tough to throw a strike. Young Franco hit a grand slam last year late against the Dodgers.
Luis Perdomo, right-hander, warming up.
Hard to defend that base on balls.
Yes, it is.
Boy, Franco in the driver's seat here with the bases loaded. He can kind of guess fastball and take a rip, and he does. Misses. Violent swing.
Well, that's the kind of hack you want to take. 2-0, especially if you get a fastball.
Foul back toward us, so that levels the count at 2-2. One run, 3 hits for the Phillies. No runs, 3 hits for the Padres. One error each team. 8th inning, bases loaded. 1 out and 2 to Franco. Ground ball to short. There's 1. Back to 1st. A double play. No, it's out of the glove of Wallace. 2 runs will score. And it's 3-0. A perfect double play ball. Spangenberg's throw was wide inside the bag. Wallace trying to make the slap tag and drop the ball. So without the aid of a base hit, the Phillies have 2 runs and the inning continues. Spangenberg's had a rough night.
Perfect feed from Alexei up the line, and Brett Wallace did everything he could.
Second error for Spangenberg. Way off the line. That was a sure double play.
Brett Wallace never really had control of that baseball, and umpire's going over towards the Padres dugout. Andy Green, Mark McGuire on the phone. Maybe they're checking the slide, maybe?
Once again, maybe in the future, the Major League Baseball will consider having one of the umpires, if umpire in chief, wear a microphone so they can announce why this play has been challenged. All right, well, he didn't go to the bag. He
didn't touch the bag.
Yeah, this could very well become a double play and no run score. Right now, it's a fielder's choice error of Spangenberg, but the slide was not directly to the base. That's for certain. And under the new interpretation of the rules, this is a double play.
You have to go towards the bag, commit to the bag. He wasn't even close. He had no intent to going to the bag.
Even though there wasn't any serious contact with a second baseman, or if the shortstop is covering, that's not the intent of the rules. And that's it's been a little messy this first week, but they've already called this a couple of times in Major League action.
Well, here it is again.
Now the only way it might go the other way is that there was no intent to get Spangenberg. He's way over to the other side. They could just say he's just trying to get out of the way of the throw.
Got to be able to touch the bag, and that was not the case there on that slide to second. Here we go.
No, they're not going to interpret it that way.
It's so subjective, isn't it?
It really is. That's a good challenge by Andy Green. So fielder's choice, Franco gets 1 RBI. The other one scores on the error by Spangenberg. Boy, a messy inning. 3 walks and an error, and it's 3-0 Philadelphia. And here's Ryan Howard, 0 for 3 tonight. Well, you keep setting the table with walks, and you're flirting with a disastrous inning, and so it has become. On this cold night, 3 looks like 300, and Howard now pulls one into the corner. Around second to third, and holding is Franco on a long single by Howard.
Ryan Howard's not going to waste any time. Middle in. That's probably the only pitch that Ryan Howard could do some damage with. That's right in his swing path. Breaking ball's down and away. Fastball's up out of the zone. He'll chase, but that one elevated and up in. Good for a single to right.
Ruiz has walked, grounded out, and safe on Spangenberg's drop fly ball. First and third, 2 out. So both runs charged to Quackenbush, who walked the first 2 men to open the inning, and they've come around to score. High fly ball. That's going to sail toward the crowd. The wind's got it. Kemp can't get there, or can he? Oh, what an effort. He had the ball for a while, sliding into the barrier there. Boy, that's a terrific effort by Kemp.
Matt Kemp, nicely done. That is a long run. Flash a look, track, break it down, and he tried to get,
Tried to make the basket catch while sliding into the barrier.
And this ball never hits the ground because it's off his body and then out of his glove, and he tries on the second effort.
That's the old college hustle there.
He had that in his glove, it looked like, because he cradled it. Good effort. Great effort.
A 1-1 to Ruiz. Another chance. Here comes Kemp. Wynn's got it, blowing it toward the line. And the inning comes to an end. 2 runs on 1 hit, 2 left. Time now for our Carl's Jr. star of the game. Charlie Morton continued his terrific pitching against San Diego. 4-1 coming in. He goes 6 2/3 shutout innings, allowed only 3 hits. He walked 4 and struck out 7, and stands to win his first game of the new season. If Jeanmar Gomez can hold the Padres here in the 9th. Burris moves to second base. Or first base, rather, for Howard.
And Jeanmar Gomez, the closer, as Mr. Enberg indicated. 3-pitch pitcher, fastball, changeup, and a slider. You know, he's going to touch about 94, but he's not that overpowering, averaging about 91. So Potter's got some work to do here to get multiple base runners. And there's, as Dick mentioned, Emmanuel Burris patrols first base for Ryan Howard.
Gomez with only 1 career major league save. Cleveland 3 years, Pittsburgh 2, and Phillies the last year. More a middle reliever, but the Phillies are shy of that dominating relief pitcher to close, and Gomez inherited the role. He'll face Upton, Norris, and Ramirez unless Andy Green goes to his bench. Hunter now in left field as well for Goodell. Upton has walked and singled and lined to short. So with only 1 career save prior to this year, and he's got a couple over the weekend in New York against the Mets.
Settling into that role quite nicely, huh? Hopefully the Padres can spoil it here.
Swinging bunt. They'll
That's a fair ball.
be able to make the play on Upton. It's touched in fair territory by Franco, so an infield hit to get things started. Upton on base for the 3rd straight time.
As I mentioned, multiple base runners. Hey, a home run, sure, that would be nice, but get on board. Next guy comes up. It's touched by Franco. It goes foul, but touched in fair territory. That's a hot potato. Runner aboard for San Diego.
They weren't going to throw out Upton anyway.
He should have just let that one go, don't you think, Dick?
Maybe it might have.
Yeah.
Tuft of grass.
He's going to be on first anyway.
Yeah. Well, instincts take over. keeping score. Both of the runs scored, even though there was an error involved, are earned. Brian Howard's single made those both earned runs. So they're both charged to Quackenbush. Now trying to keep it going. Derek Norris. He's walked. Safe on an error and struck out.
Got to get the Shillelaghs out this inning.
Tougher challenge. Thanks to the generosity of the Padre Wildness with the 3 walks in the last of the 8th, and 2 of them have scored. In there, 0-2. 92 on the fastball. '28-year-old from Venezuela, Gomez. Came up to the big leagues with the Indians back in 2010 as a starter, and continued in that role the following year with the Tribe. Went to the pen 2 years ago in Pittsburgh.
Everything's down and away from Gomez. That's exactly where you want to be in a situation like this.
Induce a ground ball, possible double play to help yourself out. Alexei Ramirez is next. And then Amarista here in the top of the 9th. Padres trying to battle back, down 3-0. Inside, clearly inside as we check Fox Tracks.
Move your slider down and away here after going hard inside. Fastball away.
Misses again. Fans trying to help out Angel Hernandez, but those pitches are off the plate. 21,043 chilled customers here at Citizens Bank Park. Oh, full count. Up the middle and knocked down by Gomez. Throws to second, back to first, not in time for the double play. As Gomez took one for the team on that one, threw his body into that comebacker. Going out to check on the well-being of the right-hander.
Fired a nice strike to second base as well after knocking that one down.
Boy, the instincts of the human being. I mean, that ball is in a split second on you, and it's blistered by Derek Norris, and still able to get, it looked like he got a piece of the glove on it. Alexei Ramirez trying to get on there. The man that can concern the Phillies is on deck, tying the run. And at the moment, it's Amarista. The only left-handed batter on the bench for the Padres is Travis Jankowski. Ground ball softly to first. They'll get the out easily. Burris making the play, and the Padres are down to their final out. 4 o'clock tomorrow. We invite you to be with us as Colin Ray goes for his first win of the new season against Gerard Eichhoff of the Phillies. Eichhoff, one of the many acquisitions picked up by Philadelphia in their trades of last year. He was involved in the trade for Cole Hamels with Texas. And Marista with the runner at second. 2 outs, 9th inning. He's lined out, grounded out, and walked tonight. Strike one. Well, the Padres, should they not score here, will lose their 5th game of the season, 4 by shutout. And Marista can change that dimension right here with a base hit, bring up a pinch hitter. Jabari Blash has a bat in the on-deck circle. Meaningless run on second. Padres need another base runner. And that won't do it. Second baseman to first, and the ball game is over. Padres whitewashed again. The final score, Philadelphia 3, San Diego nothing. And to San Diego we go. Mike Pomerantz.